Well, hello, everybody. One of the things while writing Re-Enlightening that I encountered, well, it didn't come up until I talked to my editor, and he made a recommendation to me about a wonderful book by Pankaj Mishra called Age of Anger. Now, this is a very interesting book for a lot of reasons. Uh, Re-Enlightening is primarily about perspectives, and Mishra has a very interesting perspective on globalism and the Enlightenment itself. You see, he is from India, but educated in the UK. And so he lived kind of in two worlds. He considered himself a stepchild of enlightened Western world. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if you look at how Western hegemony, Western domination of the world has taken place, one of the things that we are very proud of is the Enlightenment, the development of free trade, industry, all of these various things. And we use this as kind of a bludgeon to the rest of the world. Why is this important? Well, obviously, for one thing, it's just plain rude. But you see, industrialization took place over many generations, 250 years roughly, in the Western world. So we've had time to change and adapt slowly. In developing countries, it's taking place just like that. There are people alive today who remember a pre industrial world. And all of this developed economy is changing culture. And there's a serious backlash to that. Now, we see this in the Muslim world, and for one thing, but in India, it's a little different, isn't it? So, what exactly can we say about the Enlightenment principles that we have? Well, here's the thing. When you start bragging about how enlightened you are, you're not enlightened. That's basically the problem. And we in the West really need to keep stock of what it is that we have lost. See, it's very obvious in a country that it's happened quickly in. Just talk to your grandma. You'll hear about how different things were, and how families were set up, villages, cities were set up, how people related to each other, how it was different. In the West, it's going to take a lot more deeper understanding. I mean, things have changed dramatically. You know, the Western world is based on Christianity. Now, I happen to come from an ascetic tradition, the simple life of Anabaptists. My grandfather left the faith. It's been a long time. But that ascetic tradition is one thing that we have completely lost in the Western world. And it's just one example how things have changed. What the Age of Anger is really all about is how a lot of promises were made. You know, you industrialize, you pick up all the principles of enlightenment, and life is going to be great, isn't it? And materially, people are well off. There's no question. But what have they lost in the process? See, if you're like me and you really think the Enlightenment is great and the principles of it are wonderful, this kind of criticism is important. Because, first of all, a little humility goes a long way. But second of all, we need to acknowledge that we've lost some things along the way. Maybe some things that we can even reclaim. I mean, what is this really all about? If we think about the balance that is necessary in the systems that govern our lives, we can start putting more value on things that, well, maybe we haven't for a long time. And the most important of these is humans. I mean, what is an economy if it doesn't work for the people who live in it? If they're so frazzled that they're not able to raise children properly, you don't have a future, do you? What if they're not actually finding happiness in everything? That's where the Age of Anger comes in. You see, it's very stark and clear in the developing world. And that's why Mishra's perspective is such a good one. He sees both sides of it. And that's something that we can all do. So I quote him quite heavily in one section of Re-Enlightening, and I advise you to check it out. It's a good book, and you can start from where I did in Re-Enlightening as a criticism, the unfinished work what we need to be thinking of. That's all. Thanks, everybody.